I always tell people buying a home is dangerous. It's dangerous because it's emotional, and emotional people tend to make some very irrational decisions. Hey everyone, my name is Alex, a realtor and team lead at the A-Team Ottawa real estate team. Today, we'll be talking about everything that you need to know as a first-time buyer here in Canada, and it's all under 16 minutes. So if you're buying your first home or just thinking about it or just came here to learn, then you did the right thing by being here, because educating yourself before committing yourself to the biggest purchase of your entire life is probably the most intelligent thing that you could do. We're going to cover some common mistakes that buyers make, some strategies that you can use and benefit from, and also the programs available to you as a first-time buyer in Canada. Without further ado, let's jump in. Step number 1 is your finances, and the very first part is getting a pre-approval. Look, without it, quite frankly, you're just wasting your time. You need to know exactly what a lender will let you borrow. Look at the situation you're in. You're about to make the biggest purchase of your life. You're about to spend multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars. Step number 1 should always be going to speak to a bank or your lender under every circumstance. Also, you don't have to spend the full pre-approval amount. Just because the bank or lender says that you can borrow $500,000 doesn't mean that you should spend $500,000. You're just going to stretch yourself thin. Unless your income is expected to rise in the next few years, you're putting yourself just one unexpected bill away from living paycheck to paycheck. It's not worth it. Give yourself some breathing room. A recent CMHC study found that 65% of buyers paid the maximum that they could afford, which is a number that is rapidly increasing over the years. Like, don't be part of that statistic, please. And real quick about credit scores, banks don't care about your credit score at all. Your credit score is just determining what kind of rate that you will qualify for, and that's how that affects your mortgage application. Like, banks care far more about repayment capacity and employment stability than a 3-digit credit score number. Number 2 is down payment. Look, if you can put 20% down, then you probably should, because you'll avoid mortgage insurance premiums. But if you can't, that's okay. Look, in Canada, on homes up to $500,000, the minimum down payment is 5%. But you'll be required to obtain mortgage insurance, which your lender will take care of. Don't worry. Just know that this will increase your mortgage amount. But hey, at least you can buy a house with just 5% down. And if you're a first-time buyer, you're saving up for a down payment somewhere, make sure that you're saving it in your first home savings account. It's completely free. Your contributions reduce your taxable income, which means that at your next tax season, you can expect a pretty nice refund, all just for contributing. And all the growth is tax-free, so it's an absolute no-brainer. I have a full video breaking down the FHSA and possible strategies. Be sure to go check it out right after this video if you want to learn more. The third part of your finances is budgeting. When you're pre-approved, ask the lender or the bank for your monthly payment on a 25-year amortization. Start budgeting that amount today. But your mortgage isn't the whole picture. You also need to budget for things like property taxes, utilities, and home insurance. And keep in mind that all 3 of those scale directly with the size of the home. So bigger is not always better in real estate, because bigger definitely means more to heat, more to cool, more to maintain, more utilities, more insurance, more property taxes, more to repair. Once you know your price range and the location that you're looking in, pull up a few MLS listings. Look for the property tax information as well as utilities. They're pretty consistent by area. Start practicing that budget now. Let the money accumulate into a savings account, and then when you move in, that amount can become your emergency fund. Step number 2 is choosing your team. And remember, you're about to spend multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars. You're not doing this alone. Just like in any industry, there are great professionals, and then there are people who are putting themselves first. So you need to talk to a few options before committing yourself to one specific person. And with your first overall selection, you will need to draft a realtor. And let me be clear, a realtor is not just someone who goes and unlocks doors for you. They are your market expert. Call a few, have conversations. You're looking for someone who will truly listen to you, understand you, and put your best interest first, not their own. And if you notice the conversation is swinging more towards them, their success, their sales, or their ego, big red flag. I would recommend just walking away. Just say, hey, thanks for your time. I'm going to think about it and I'll get back to you. Also, quick clarification, the buyer's agent commission is usually paid for by the seller at the time of closing. Now, if the seller is not offering any sort of commission, which is usually through a private sale or for sale by owner, then your agent will explain to you your options before you proceed, so don't worry. Now, next up, you're going to need a lender. So you'll have options here. You can go through a mortgage broker who will shop for rates and products across multiple lenders for you, which is very helpful. If you prefer, you can go directly to your bank or financial advisor. The important part is having a trusted, reliable contact that you can get answers from quickly, because timelines matter a lot when you're making offers. And finally, you're going to need a real estate lawyer. Their job is to review your agreement, handle the transfer of funds, and make sure that the title is clean. So if you don't have one, ask your realtor for recommendations. They usually know who picks up the phone and gets things done quick. A strong team can help you save a lot of time, a lot of stress, and a lot of money. Keep in mind that you are the shot caller. This is about you. The second you feel pressured, rushed, or talked down to, probably you're best to confront it or just walk away and find somebody else. Now, step 3 is finding the right property. And before you even walk into your first showing, you need to define your needs and wants list. This is what's going to save you hours of driving, stress, and confusion. So your needs are your non-negotiables and your wants are your nice to haves. So examples can be number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, your budget, location, and must-have accessibility or lifestyle features. Now, these are usually your needs. Now, it's case by case, like only you know whether or not it's truly a need or a want for you and your family, but you can consider other things like a finished basement, a garage, open concept, a larger backyard, or entertainment spaces. Look, if you don't separate these, then every house that you go see will feel like a compromise. When you know your needs first, it'll become much easier to say yes or no with confidence. Now, you're also going to have to understand property types, and detached homes are the most popular, I would say, where it's great because you own the land and there's no shared walls. It's a standalone building. Now, the pros of detached homes is privacy and the flexibility to modify. You basically own everything. Cons are usually higher utility costs and maintenance because you cover everything. There's also semi-detached homes or townhouses where they either share one or multiple walls depending on the circumstances. The pros are they're often much more affordable, lower utilities because you have less exterior walls, also because of shared walls, which basically allows you to steal the heat off your neighbors. However, cons are you have less privacy, limitation on noise, potentially shared exterior maintenance agreements, which maybe you just weren't looking for. And then there's condos, like condo townhouses or condo apartments, where you own the interior, however, the exterior is handled by the condominium corporation. Now, the pros are there's lower maintenance because everything outside is taken care of by the condominium corporation, which is good for busy lifestyles or people who are just physically unable or unwilling. Now, the cons are you now have an additional fee known as the monthly condo fees, which can get very expensive, and make sure to review what's included in those condo fees, which we'll cover how a little bit later. Now, during showings, make sure to take notes. Write down what you liked, what you didn't like about each property. It'll all blur together. Notes will save you. Also, talk it out with your realtor. Be honest with them. Be very transparent with them. They're working for you, working for your best interests. The more transparent you are, the more helpful that your realtor can be, and probably the faster you're going to find your perfect home. Moving on, step number 4 is all about offer and negotiation. So a lot of first-time buyers think that this is just about the price, and that is wrong. This part is all about strategy. Before you write anything, ask your realtor what kind of market you're in. A buyer's market means that there are more houses for sale than there are buyers. So homes sit on the market for longer periods of time. Sellers usually negotiate more and houses tend to sell for under asking. So you have a lot of leverage here. Now, in a seller's market, that just means that there are more buyers than houses for sale. So houses will sell fast, sometimes over asking. Sellers are usually the ones calling the shots here, so you have a lot less room to negotiate. Now, in a balanced market, that's where supply equals demand. It's pretty steady. There's no major advantage to either side, but knowing the market is very important. It's basically like reading the room upon entering. You're going to know exactly how to play your opening move. So Now let's talk about offer strategy. So if you're considering placing an offer on a home, ask your realtor to prepare a comparative market analysis or a CMA. This report compares the home to recent sales in the area so you know what the property is actually worth today. This is so much better than throwing just a random number at them or trusting their list price. Then also ask your realtor to find out how much interest there is on the property. This one is huge. Look, if there's multiple offers on a property, then you're entering a battlefield. You might not want to compete. However, if you do, then you're going to want to submit your best offer up front. That might mean offering your highest comfortable price or removing a few conditions, or you can choose to just not compete, walk away, and go see other homes. Now, for conditions, the usual three are financing, inspection, and insurance. Look, your pre-approval is not your final approval. Include the finance condition. You never know what could go wrong. Inspection. Even if you don't care, use it. Look, you might change your mind later down the line, and at least you'll have the option to do it. And insurance, I mean, it's not mandatory, but it's definitely good to have, especially on homes that are in flood zones or older homes or homes that have a wood-burning fireplace. Hey, no, please, come on. Oh, the cats are in the room and they want to play. And look, between you and I, if you want to make your offer look a lot better, you can only stick to one condition, and I would recommend the inspection condition. You still work on your financing on the side, and just know that if the financing doesn't work out, you can always use the inspection condition to back out of the offer. Just make sure you and your realtor are aligned on this. That way you are protected at all times. Now, if you're buying a condominium, then be sure to include a status certificate review by a lawyer condition. This will let your lawyer review the condo corporation's financial health, as well as everything that has to do with the specific unit that you're placing an offer on. Because if the condominium corporation is sinking financially, guess who's going to have to pay for that? You, through special assessments or higher condo fees. So at least this way you can find out ahead of time and then decide whether or not you still want to proceed. Once your offer is submitted, the sellers might counter back, which is fine. It's pretty standard. Your realtor will guide you through step by step. It's very important that you don't sign anything that you don't understand. If something is not clear, speak up, ask questions. Remember, your realtor is working for you, working for your best interest. You are the captain here. Now, if your offer gets accepted with conditions, that's called conditionally accepted, which means the offer is not firm. So now you have to get to work to satisfying those conditions. So get the inspection done, send the documents to your lender. You will have a deadline for these conditions, and in residential real estate, it's usually about 2 weeks. Let's say the inspection comes back with issues. Your realtor can help you negotiate, whether it's price or repairs. Everything in real estate is negotiable. If it's legal, it's negotiable. Sometimes it's just about being creative. Once everything checks out, your realtor will have you sign a notice of fulfillment, and at that very moment, the deal becomes firm and you just bought a house. But it's not over yet. There's still step number 5, which is all about closing. Before closing, your realtor should have included a final walkthrough clause in your offer. This usually happens a few days before closing. It lets you go back into the home and make sure that everything is the same way as when you bought it. That way there's no surprises, there's no missing appliances, no damage. It's just a quick check before the keys actually exchange hands. Now for closing day itself, this is where your lawyer handles everything, like transferring the title, registering the mortgage, making sure the property is legally yours. You will be expected to bring your down payment to the lawyer's office when you're signing these documents. And please always get title insurance. I don't care who told you otherwise. It'll cost you between like $400 to $600, and it's a one-time fee that lasts you the entire ownership of the house. It protects you from any past issues with the property's ownership or paperwork that you just couldn't have known about. It could be errors or unpaid taxes or unknown liens, like some really messy stuff. Look, like I said, one-time fee covers you the entire duration that you own the house. It's an absolute no-brainer. Plus, what is $500 when you're about to spend multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars? A couple move-in tips here. Budget for small repairs and little surprises. Like almost nobody moves in and finds everything perfect. You might fix a door hinge here. You might want to replace the locks and the handles. Look, you might have some patching and some painting to do. It's normal. And if you budget it from the beginning, like I said in step 1, you'll be completely fine. Now, a little bonus section here for some bonus tips and reality check that you can do. Tip number 1 is concerns stay with the home. So if you found something uncomfortable with the house or something really bothered you when you were buying the house, just know that future buyers are also going to see it. Okay, and keep in mind that you can't fix ugly. Tip number 2 is think 5 years ahead. It would be a real shame if you bought and then moved again in 2 years, because real estate fees and land transfer tax and lawyer fees are going to eat a lot of your equity. So it'd be a shame if you had to move again. Tip number 3 is don't ever try to time the market. Look, the perfect time to buy is when you are financially ready. Tip number 4 is buy for yourself, not to impress. Other people aren't going to be making the mortgage payment. You are. So buy what works best for you and your family. Like, success is not buying a house that you can't afford. Tip number 5 is condition over cosmetics. Always buy the solid house first before the nice looking one. You can fix these little things later, like paint, countertops. It's all cosmetic stuff. Things like plumbing, roof, electrical, foundation, those are big money items. Finally, tip number 6 is know when to walk away. Look, if you submit an offer on a house that you love and the sellers counter back, they're not really trying to work with you, again, know when to walk away. Emotional people tend to make very irrational decisions that they regret over long periods of time. So don't do it. There you go. There's everything that you need to know, explained by a real estate agent here in Ottawa. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps me out and I would truly appreciate it. That way you won't miss one of my future uploads, such as this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.